So let's go ahead and get started.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a picture of one of the guests that was at the Austin convention, and I'm going to start a caricature of him. And first I bring up is a template where I've already got the logos in the background and on the bottom. And I'm going to do what's called a rough sketch of the person, just to get an idea, flesh out some ideas of how I want the caricature to look. And I also like to use a white glove here because it allows my hand to operate more smoothly on the Syntec. We're going to pick kind of a gray color here. Choose a pen. So for him, I'm going to kind of draw him. He's got a real high edge of hair there, and then the rest of his case to me kind of almost like a bowling pin, or like a vessel shape. I'm going to give him that kind of vessel shape. You can hardly see his ears; they're just right there. And his nose is, I'm going to give him a big nose, big heavy eyebrows, and a big smile. And his eyes are kind of squinting. There's some smile lines there. Okay, so that's my first step, is developing just kind of a rough sketch of the person, and then I move on to drawing the finished line art. Okay, so my next step is I'm going to do the line art, and I have that in a separate layer. Photoshop allows you to draw in layers, and I'm going to use this layer called Face Line, and I'm going to change my pen to be dark black ink, and my brush that size, and I can control my brush size with this tablet. And I'm going to increase the size there just so I can get a better view. So I like to start with the nose. Actually, I'm going to make the rough a little lighter. Okay, so I'm going to start with the nose here. And then I'll take away the rough layer, and there's the finished line art. Okay. Next I'll do the coloring in, and I'm going to color in his face with a flesh color. And I'm going to make my brush really large. Now we're going to give the face some depth to it. We're going to put in some shadows and lights into it. And for this, I have a special color for a darker flesh tone. And I'm going to use a different brush, an airbrush. And I'm also going to tone down the airbrush so it's not coming on too strong. And the first thing I need to do is on my flesh layer is highlight my flesh layer. And then on my flesh shadows, I'm going to go in and I'm going to start showing some of that depth, that little bit of brown that's in there. And a little bit under his neck there. And around his nose. And eyes. A little bit under the lip there. And then we're going to add a little bit of a pink color, give his face a little more pink to it, especially in the cheeks and the nose, the lips, and the chin area. Now he also has a 5 o'clock shadow, so we're going to go a little bit of that around here and around the bottom here. A little bit of fattening on the neck too. Then the last step we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of white highlight to show kind of the reflections. Usually everybody has a little bit of a white highlight coming right off their nose. He's got it right here over the bridge of his eyes. A little bit up here. And right on the cheeks. And a little bit right off his chin. And lips. A little bit on the lips right there. So that'll give his face some depth to it. Put a little bit right there on his eyes. And next we'll highlight his hair. And with that I use a little bit different brush. I have a special brush I use for hair. And on this one, I just want to start coloring in some of the dark colors that are in his hair. Well, some of the lighter colors. Now at this point, I'm at the point where he's almost finished, but there's just a few more finishing touches that we have to do. Okay, and then we also have his clothes to do, and I'm going to use his photograph to actually pick the colors, and I'm going to try the right brush picked. And there you have it, finished caricature, done in approximately 10 minutes of this gentleman, and that's the technique I use, basically relying on the layers in Photoshop and drawing a rough art, then the line art, coloring it with flat colors, and then highlighting the flat colors to get some depth into the picture. And that's basically about it.